Hello, I'm Justin Hartree from the Oxfam Supply Centre. We're not at the warehouse today. I'm standing next to a pond in Devon. I'm going to talk about the Digital Turbidity Meter, how to use it, what it's for, and how you will use it instead of or alongside your turbidity tube. But first, let's talk a bit about turbidity itself and why it's important to measure it. Raw water is often cloudy due to suspended sediment such as mud and biological bloom. And the objective measurement of this gives you the turbidity. It's measured in nephelometric turbidity units, or NTU for short. So why measure turbidity? Firstly, when we're treating water, we're going to be using chlorine as the disinfectant. For chlorine to be most effective, the water needs to be clear. It needs to be below 5 NTU. As turbidity rises, the particles and the suspended sediment can harbour pathogens. This means that more chlorine will be required, the costs will go up, the flavour of the water will be made bad, and the efficacy of the chlorine is reduced. When you operate a water treatment plant in the field, your first stage is going to be sedimentation to reduce the turbidity. You need to be measuring turbidity before and after each cycle of the sedimentation to determine exactly how much flocculant or aluminium sulfate you're going to use. Surface water turbidity can fluctuate day to day, week to week, or over the seasons. So unless you can measure it accurately and adjust your chemical dosing rates, you can end up using too many materials and wasting money. The second reason is in the selection of a water source. We may have several we can choose from initially, but we want to choose the one which gives our water treatment plants the best opportunity to work well. There are a number of parameters to consider, but turbidity is certainly one of the most important ones. So that's enough of the theory. The bottom line is that measuring turbidity is important, and the more accurate you can do that, the better. So we're going to draw a water sample and then head back to the workshop to do some. Here we are back in the workshop. I've got my water sample we've just taken. I've got my turbidity meter, which will show you how to use. But before that, we're going to take a measurement using the old-fashioned turbidity tube. The turbidity tube is a very simple device, a long perspex tube with a black X at the bottom and NTU markings on the side. To get a measurement, you fill the tube with your sample water and then start pouring it out bit by bit, each time looking down the tube. As soon as you can see the black X at the bottom, you can read the NTU measurement from the markings on the side. And that's it. For this sample, it looks like the turbidity is around 130 NTU. So this method is very quick and it's very simple, but it's not very accurate and it's not very precise. It's going to depend on, well, the light that's around you, and it's going to depend greatly on the user itself. There's going to be a degree of subjectivity here, and we'll get different readings. Now, if you want something more accurate, you're going to have to use something different, and we'll come to that, the turbidity meter. So here's the turbidity meter kit. It has this wonderful foam-lined case to keep everything safe. It comes with some sample tubes, a dilution tube if you need it, and various calibration fluids here. Taking a measurement is actually very, very simple. I'll show you how to do it. So the first thing is to rinse out the sampling tube with a bit of your actual sample water. Then to fill it up to the 10 milliliter line. Put the top back on, wipe away any fingerprints or water droplets. You put the tube into the device with the little markings lined up. You press the read button and your result will be there in a few moments. 176 NTU. So that's it, the Digital Turbimeter. Now, while we don't think it's going to completely replace using a turbidity tube, we do think it's going to be essential for when you're trying to be more accurate and more precise. For example, if you want to monitor changes over time, and particularly if you're managing water treatment and you want to have better control over the quantity of water treatment chemicals you're using. If you have any questions, get in touch through the website. Thanks very much for watching.